Excellency with us, we have the UN delegate, the representative, we have the chairperson of the National Planning Authority, we have the National Executive Council of the National Youth Council. The members are here to represent the youth. Invited are also the youth members of parliament, the Secretariat for the Special Interest Groups also is represented here by the Executive Secretary. We have the media team also here represented, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, the state ministers are here present, and my senior minister is also here with us. Welcome, Right Honorable Prime Minister, and also the Minister of Finance. We'll have many more joining us as we proceed. Allow me, Your Excellency, also bring to your attention that in commemoration of the International Youth Day, we have had also a series of activities. On the 7th of August, we had a National Youth Parliament where young people across the country have the opportunity to be in Parliament and deliberate on behalf of the young people. They come up with resolutions and it's presented to the members of Parliament to also be deliberated on the floor. Those resolutions will hand them over to you for further consideration. Also yesterday, like I stated, we had the National Youth Council annual sitting that usually happens on the 11th of August in commemoration of the same, and we were glad that His Excellency Ebli was represented by you. So once again, send our heartfelt gratitude to him. And also key, Your Excellency, is that the young people are happy that the President appointed a young minister in charge of the youth and children. That for us as the young people is an affirmation that His Excellency, not just him but as a country, we have inclusion of the young people and they're seated at the table of decision making. We don't take it for granted. Once again, convey my gratitude for the same. Allow me invite the chairperson of the National Youth Council to put across a few words. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, and all dignitaries invited, allow me thank you, Your Excellency, for firstly being with us yesterday as the youth leadership of the country had its first annual general meeting of the newly elected team to discuss matters and resolve on the direction they believe the youth should take. We appreciate you so much for coming, and we request that you extend our gratitude to His Excellency the President for being passionate about youth matters. Allow me also thank His Excellency the President for being passionate about the youth and taking the action needed. As already noted by my minister, he has deployed and employed youth in positions that matter. For, I believe, the very first time, the minister for youth is actually a young person. Actually, even younger than many other people within the youth structures. So we appreciate His Excellency so much. Notably, there are also other youth leaders that have been appointed in ministries. The Honorable Nyamutoro is also a youth, and she was a youth leader. We also have the Honorable Desire Mohoza, who has been in the youth structures, and she's the Ministry of Agriculture. So we thank His Excellency so much. His Excellency has also shown a strong commitment and willingness towards youth socio-economic transformation through the actions he has undertaken in availing youth with a 30% in PDM, in Yoga Youth Livelihood Program, and many others, skilling to know. Your Excellency, yesterday, 11th August 2026, when the young people sat, the leadership of the National Youth Council, which is representative countrywide, we resolved on a few of the following issues which I would like to relay here to you. First Firstly, Your Excellency, the youth leadership of this country through the National Youth Council pledged that they will play a fundamental role in monitoring what government is doing towards the young people and to follow up every detail and bit of the same. They want to follow every point that Your Excellency invests in them to see that there is actual change in the livelihoods of the young people. So they want to be a council of action to see that there is a returning investment in the monies that Your Excellency makes towards the youth. The request of the youth was that, Your Excellency, there is many interventions by government towards youth, but they're scattered all over the place. It therefore becomes a little difficult to follow up, to monitor, and to see that the youth are actively involved. The request was that if these interventions can be brought and aggregated under one umbrella, it will ease the following and monitoring of the same, and through one consolidated direct project that is for the young people. Your Excellency, the youth also appreciated His Excellency's investments towards the young people in the various programs as already noted, the skilling, the education, the NYOGA, the PDM, but they say the young people have a huge population and they request for greater government investment and funding on youth matters, investment which is proportionate to the demographic reality. Your Excellency, the youth also appreciated your government for standing firm with them and providing opportunities. One among them is a quota in the public procurement and disposal in the government system of public procurement, where the youth have a 15% together with women and persons with disability in public contracts and procurement. It is a good policy that the youth will come and appreciate. The only request is for a more strict enforcement of this policy, because in all the MDAs and local governments, this is not being implemented. So the youth request for a stricter enforcement of this policy that Your Excellency has brought towards us. Your Excellency, the youth also noted that we appreciate what you have done to engage and involve youth in governance and leadership through the bringing about of the Youth Council system and structure that you brought about and championed in 1993. However, to make it more functional, they had the following set of requests that will enable the Youth Council structures countrywide to function and deliver on the new pledge and mandate of following up and monitoring your work. And this is also a follow-up of a meeting that the National Executive Committee had with Your Excellency the President on 2nd December 2025 at the State Lodge in Mbali, and you actually committed, so the young people are just reminding you. First, Your Excellency, was a commitment towards the establishment of a National Youth Multipurpose Center to house and host the youth, where the young people can gather to ideate, to innovate, and think better towards youth socio-economic transformation. The second was additional funding to the National Youth Council structure and system from 4 billion to 10 billion Uganda shillings to enable them take on this task and new pledge of following up the monies and pushing for youth socio-economic transformation and uptake of government programs towards them. The other, Your Excellency, was a request and a pledge by you, sir, that you need the youth leaders to move from being job seekers to wealth creators. And it was your own idea, Your Excellency, that you would avail some resources to the youth leaders to become wealth creators, and you had said you would avail 5 million Uganda shillings each startup capital to 9 district executive committee youth leaders and 2 youth councillors. That would make it 11 people, so that they would create wealth And when they create wealth, they would have the moral right to mobilize fellow youth into wealth creation, because one cannot preach what they are not practicing. So, Your Excellency, we call upon you to come onto that promise. The other was a mobility challenge from the District Youth Council Chairperson, Your Excellency, around all the parishes, because we know the government is now centered at the parish level of administration, and they want to move around all the parishes of their districts. However, they have no means of mobility. In the past youth councils, about 15 years ago, you had availed them with motorcycles to enable them move, but the same are now dilapidated and cannot work. They are requesting that if the district youth chairpersons in the 146 districts could have a means of mobility to execute this task that they are so passionate and zealous about. Your Excellency, the youth have a zeal to serve, the ones that are elected, the leadership. However, they need guidance, leadership training, and ideological orientation. They are therefore requesting that you avail them the opportunity to be ideologically oriented at the National Leadership Training Center in Chankwanzi and taught and guided better on leadership and the direction and the vision that you have for this country. So we make that request to Your Excellency. Your Excellency, the youth also have a request, the leadership of the Youth Council. You had promised them that when the elections get done, you find time and sit with them for in-person mentorship and guidance. They have said they have read your books, Sowing the Mustard Seed, they have read your articles, they follow on your writings, but they would like an opportunity for a person sitting with you to listen to you and get more direction and mentorship so that they can extend the same to the young people. Very lastly, Your Excellency, I preside over the young people of Uganda, the leadership, and among them, a few have dire health situations. We have 2 youth leaders that got into accidents, and another is in a terrible health situation, and their request was for support towards the same. It's urgent, and these are national youth leaders, Your Excellency. Otherwise, we appreciate you so much. You've done so much for us, and we know you're willing to even do more. We are proud of your involvement and appointing young people to preside over us, our ministers. We also thank you for appointing a very able minister, cabinet minister, the General Tumukunde, who is passionate about the young people and is actively involved with our work. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and we know that you will have positive feedback for the young people of Uganda. May God bless you, for God and my country.
Thank you, Chairman. I can confirm that what the young people brought to table yesterday in the council is exactly what you have presented here, and my prayer is that it's all taken up with utmost and given the attention that it deserves. Your Excellency, we are all aware that the population of Uganda stands at 45.9 million. And we think every day that 73.2% of that population is below the age of 30 years. Now, as a country, for me, I would think that that's a demographic advantage. But the question to us today, as we celebrate the International Youth Day celebrations, it's not just recognizing the contribution of the young people in national development, but also it's an opportunity for us to reflect, to ask ourselves, are we doing enough as government to help the young people? The question will be yes, because their programs, government has been dedicated and their programs every now and then to help the young people, but also the population growth rate is quite high. when we talk about issues of unemployment, which is the biggest issue among the young people of Uganda, it means that even with these programs in place, they are not enough to absorb these young people. It's not enough to even have them. We have the skilling to mention all of them. Chairman has put them in place. And I'm happy that the Minister of Finance is here, and I saw him taking very good notes of everything. Once again, Minister of Finance, you're very welcome. You are our partner.
2 pages.
Yes, so far he has written 2 pages. I want to believe that by the end of this engagement, I also hope that you'll be convinced that the young people deserve more allocation, not just in the structures, but the program that we have in place. To mention, we have the Jua Kali program for the youth who are in informal sector, and that program focuses on making them formal and also supporting them to grow. But it hasn't attracted as much funding, yet it's one of actually the key programs we are looking at in getting our people out of unemployment. I know that my senior minister later on will talk about the need, because he loves that word so much. Those are youth not in employment, not in education, not in training. The number is at 5.2 million youth. It means they are disconnected from everything that we're talking about. All these programs, they don't know. They're idle. Now that is a very critical mass for us as a country, and I am glad that you are here as we craft a way out of our problems. Your Excellency, also the other issue among the young people is the issue of drug, substance and substance abuse. This, Your Excellency, stems from the fact that yes, when you have them unemployed and they're idle, and then most of them are left with no option. But that, and for us we're saying that even as a ministry, as government, we're committed to ensuring that engagement with these young people is every day. And when we talk about the Minister of Finance, when Chairman talks about the structure of the young people that we have that are there in leadership, but they are not empowered. They are not empowered to engage. Even my minister will later on say that even as a ministry, we also have challenges, because we would like to also know how far these programs are going. But we have limitations. But I'm happy that we are here as a team to collectively solve that the problems at hand. And Your Excellency, my chairman here of the Youth Council, Edley, talked about mindset change. Now, the young people need a deliberate effort towards mindset change. He talks about the Nali Training Institute, but Your Excellency, I want to bring to your attention the need for a National Youth Service, and I'm happy that my senior minister was given a task to come up with a paper together with other partners to craft a way in which we can have a policy that ensures that all our youth undergo this kind of program and training, what is workable and can be contained as a country. I am confident that the team that we have will come up with a solution to that. Allow me, Your Excellency, invite a representative of our development partners, and on behalf of the UN fraternity, the UNFPA country representative, to speak and represent our partners. I welcome you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable First Prime Minister, the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Welfare, Minister of State for Children and Youth Affairs, Minister of Finance, ministers here present in your respective capacities, Chair of the National Planning Authority, Chairperson of the National Youth Council, honourable members of Parliament, all dignitaries in your respective capacities, and most of all, our dear young people. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, it is a great honor for me to be here today on behalf of the United Nations Resident Coordinator as we mark International Youth Day. This year's global theme is Different Contexts, Common Aspirations, and it is very relevant to Uganda and speaks to our context. The theme reminds us that while young people live in different realities and face different challenges, They share common aspirations for quality education, for decent employment, for good health, for meaningful participation, for peace, dignity, and the opportunity to build fulfilling lives. It also reminds us that these aspirations of young people require us to invest in young people equitably and ensure that no young person is left behind, because all young people, regardless of where they are and what their circumstances are, deserve a shot to turn their aspirations into reality. Your Excellency, over 73% of Uganda's population is under the age of 30. This presents a unique opportunity. A large, young population entering working age with fewer dependents to support can become an engine of national growth. Countries that have managed this moment well have seen it lift incomes for several generations. Crucially, it does not happen on its own. Young people become productive when they are healthy, when they are educated and skilled, and when there are jobs for them to move into. When those conditions are met, a young population is a country's greatest asset. Where they are not, the same numbers place pressure on services, on families, and on social stability. The difference between those two outcomes is policy, and it is investment made now, while this generation is still young. The government of Uganda has recognized this. That is why the 4th National Development Plan carries a dedicated focus on human capital development. Human capital development is really just another way to say we have a commitment to draw on the contributions of every Ugandan. We cannot afford to waste anyone's talent, creativity, or skill. Every young person has an important contribution to make. Your Excellency, allow me to commend the Government of Uganda for its current investment in young people through programs such as the Youth Livelihoods Program, the Parish Development Model, the Presidential Skilling Initiative, and continued efforts to expand technical and vocational education and training, and several others. These efforts demonstrate a very real commitment and lay the foundations for a more prosperous and inclusive future. Equally important, institutional mechanisms such as the National Youth Council, youth representation in Parliament, have strengthened opportunities for young people to participate in governance and contribute to national development. Building on this national leadership, the United Nations in Uganda is proud to walk this journey with you. Initiatives include the Uganda United Nations Joint Programme on Adolescents and Youth for 2023 to 2025, and indeed we have a new phase that has just started. In phase 1 of this programme, we reached more than 1.8 million young people with integrated health services, more than 2.8 million young people with health information. 55,800 young people were empowered with vocational, digital, and life skills. Your Excellency, the progress is real. The distance that we have to travel is also real. Health, education, and jobs are critical areas for investment. And their capacities, their creativity, their intelligence, and their entrepreneurial spirit are not being put to use, and that cost is carried by all of society. 1 in 4 girls aged 15 to 19 is pregnant or already has a child. Every day, around 1,000 more become pregnant. Each of those pregnancies typically ends a girl's schooling, and with it, her earnings over a lifetime. Meanwhile, too many young men also leave school early with no skills and no route into a decent job. In both cases, what is lost is not only individual opportunity, but years of national productivity. The labour market needs to absorb this large cohort of young people. This means that the economy must grow in the sectors that employ at scale. and young people's skills must match what those sectors need. Your Excellency, Uganda's young people are not waiting to be included. They are already building, organizing, and innovating. Our task is to make sure the conditions exist for that energy to translate into livelihood and international growth. Today's commemoration marks a renewed commitment to investing in young people as a cornerstone of Uganda's inclusive and sustainable development. I urge all stakeholders to reaffirm their commitment to making investment in young people a strategic national development priority. As I conclude, Your Excellency, let me say that the trajectory of Uganda's development is directly linked to the quality of the opportunities that we provide to the younger citizens. By prioritizing health, education, skills, and employment, we secure the human capital necessary for Uganda's total economic transformation. On this Youth Day, I salute every young Ugandan and commend you for the great work that you do. The United Nations stands with you as a partner, as an advocate, and as a friend. Together, let us build a future where every young Ugandan can thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your remarks. I think we all agree that it resonates with what's on all our minds. So I want to thank you. And also, Uganda values partnership that is consolidated towards national development. Thank you to all our partners for always walking the journey with us whenever called upon. And sometimes don't even they do call upon us. So we continue to value your friendship as a country, and on behalf of the young people of Uganda, I say thank you to all our partners. Your Excellency, once again, allow me thank you for providing the spaces for the young people to participate meaningfully in defining their destiny through the structures that have enabled various legal and policy frameworks to be brought forth, and also the rich legal and policy regime has enabled many young people to be drivers and agents of change. I want to thank specifically the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, all the state ministers. They are a good team and they are walking the journey with us, the young people. I want to thank them in a special way for their dedication to serving the young people and guiding me as we execute our duties. Your Excellency, allow me also give a call. One of the other issues we're facing is that parents are neglecting their children. They are neglecting youth. And when they do that, it means now that becomes our problem. And again, I'm happy that my ministry also deals with issues of parenting, community mobilization, and again, giving my call to the Minister of Finance and bringing to his attention the need to enhance some of these programs that we have within the ministry, because when we have parents disengaging from their youth, that is a big problem. So my call is for every parent out there that matters the role of government to ensure that it provides the best for its citizens. It is a collective responsibility. And Your Excellency, thank you once again for allowing us to have this virtual celebration to address the issues of the young people, convey our gratitude to His Excellency the President, and if it so pleases you, Your Excellency, allow me to welcome my senior minister. All the issues that we have as the young people of Uganda have also been channeled through him, and he will present very ably as usual. General, I welcome you.
Thank you very much. Right, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, the First Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Kadaga, the Minister of Finance, Your Excellency, just between me and him, we are discussing the issue of hierarchy. And Right, and I told him that money has a hierarchy that other people don't seem to have, so I said this is the most appropriate position. Your Excellency, allow me also to recognize the presence of our development partners and of course the National Youth Council. And I must say, Your Excellency, that we are very, very happy that you came to be part of us yesterday. And I'm sure for once you must have noticed that we had a very simple meeting. We had the National Council seat and deliberate, and all the issues that we are supposed to be discussed, we are discussed, and we now have a properly running council. And of course we also presented a more decent environment for them, which they don't seem to have been used to, so they are very excited. So, Your Excellency, allow me also to recognize the ministers who are with us, the Honorable Minister of Finance, the Honorable Minister of State for Labor, and the Minister of Gender, of course, the youth. You can see what frequency we are developing in our ministry. She now speaks for me. My minister will say this, and I agree. However, Your Excellency, the Vice President, I want first of all to seek that although Uganda was spending a lot on too many ceremonies, I am of the view that some ceremonies should be given special attention. And one of them I think should be the Youth Day. If the mistakes of yesterday are there to freeze all the needs of today, I agree. I propose that we look into it. Get special days. The youth are so cardinal, they must listen to us in very proper terms and make sure we communicate to them. The Excellency, today is a day of passing a signal to the youth. Very, very important that they listen to us. And the content of the signal is very, very important. Do we understand their problems? Do we know how many they are? Do we know what layers? Because for example, the subject to women, they are single mothers, they are women without education, they are disabled women. The word is, the single word is no longer sufficient in describing. Now, once we send a signal, this signal should dig deep to the lowest young person who is so expectant about the programs of government. And we should therefore send a signal that is touching the heart and the faith of their program. I was impressed by data statistics we got from the UN, and maybe I want to go some very articulate. Now then, therefore, when we are sending this signal, Your Excellency, it must be that we have done a proper diagnosis of the problems of these young people. We don't want to be guessing, neither compressing everything in one quarter. I think we should get to understand that this is the most important human resource of yesterday. And those governments like Singapore, which is often quoted, even the others, who have understood the importance of human resource and the speed at which this human resource must be introduced and infused into public good, the better for any country. So I would request Your Excellency that we use this day, and I'm sure we'll allow you to do the communication. The major communication today is yours, and of course it is the message of the President of the Republic of Uganda. We seek that this ordinary youth must find our message not only useful but productive, but also having an effect on their thinking. Your Excellency, I must say that there is something that is coming to Africa that we are not giving enough time. I don't think this is elsewhere in the world. The demographic growth, the speed at which young people are inserting themselves in the world, and therefore the greater need for them to be given attention is something we may have to pull on the side and examine it in a very special way. The figures were accurate. I can tell you it is even more accurate for Uganda because we have a very serious problem. When I was looking at some area which I was selected for special attention, called not in education, not in employment, not in training, I discovered that these are 5.5 million people. The figure first from my main source, this figure that there is also the fact that these very young people are also reproducing. If it was that it's them and them, I would understand we could give them attention. But they are duplicating at a very swift speed. If you, and I'm sure Your Excellency, you've been down in the village and when you call a meeting, young children of 14 come with other young children. So are we really at frequency with the magnitude of this problem? Are we giving it sufficient attention? Are these demographic growth equal to the attention the budget gives this very problem? Do we really have it in full consideration? So, Your Excellency, I will want, as we talked, we need to sit and give deep examination to this very matter of the speed at which these young people are coming into operation and the kind of encumbrances which was raised by the UNDP. Yes, it is stopping. If you start programs at a very early age, you are not only stopping yourself, but you're also stopping the children that you need. So we need to really look into these matters. Now, Your Excellency, you are aware that we've set structure. Uganda is on record. We've had the national youth MPs. But the greater problem we have is that these structures are not facilitated functions. They are simply elected, well-dressed, I'm sure to influence policy, growth, policy, formation and so on. But again, you must continue to be in touch with people you purport to represent. And we were supposed to depend on them to have feedbacks. When I put these young people to task, they keep telling me, how do we get there, how do we reach there? Maybe this is something we can examine. Because what does it help to drop so much into something and there is no follow? And it brings me to my point, Your Excellency, which I have raised before in your presence, that we may have to facilitate political supervision. The politicians must be facilitated to reach down. And Your Excellency, I don't know if this is for you, but you know how these politicians come to office. They are to a battle. So this embattled politician will not be productive unless he is specifically facilitated to dig deep and reach. Because all these programs, they sing a great song. But my main question is, how effective are they? Where are they? What are they contributing to the growth of the country? So this is something that I will be preaching, equipping politicians to be able to follow up. Because all is about politics, including the public service. They should be in total frequency with the ideas of those leading the political direction. But my main question is, an MP, I have had a meeting with them, Your Excellency, youth MPs. I said, what are you doing? We are here. Where are you? In Parliament. What are you doing? We are influencing the legislative. That's not what we expect from them. So, Uganda has done well. They are represented, yes. The main question is then, how effective is all this? Your Excellency, this matter has been raised by the chairman, by the one among them, very seriously. Very seriously. You can't just be having budget for floating in Kampala. Among them, we are almost having reflection. The main question is, when we are assembling all these programs, what if we assemble them under one supervision machine? So that then, when called to answer, there's somebody who can come up and say, yes. And then that's when we shall put pressure on these structures. They can put in pressure on them. And they can't continue getting money for nothing. They have to make sure they deliver something back. For example, they must monitor the project of the youth, even the project of government. But then, how they reach there? So, if we could come back to the point, if we could assemble these good programs under one establishment, then before we complain about budget, then we get to know, is it about budget or is it about the effectiveness of the budget, the impact of the budget? So I'm sure, Your Excellency, I know you have very firm views on this, but I want to see you behind us in fighting that we have one machine running one interest, and then we can always talk about the results. Your Excellency, about the parent disease. Good programs of government can sometimes be progressive without us knowing. When we stopped parents from paying fees, from paying medical, they have no investment in children. So they are actually detached. Because when you invested in a child, for us who grew not as very facilitated lives as it should be, when our parents put their small resources in us, they care that we are properly developed and that we are useful citizens. Of course, sometimes expecting returns from us. But now when parents are detached, everything is paid for. We need to examine some of these policies. Are they actually generating? Because parents are not, you ask a parent where his child is that day, they don't seem to know. And of course it has now degenerated when you have no responsibility. In the colonial times, Your Excellency, tax was so burdening on human beings that they had to work in order to pay tax. Now, nothing. You don't pay tax, you don't pay fees, you don't pay medical fees. We need to examine actually whether this is and a child without a parent is necessarily a child without any follow-up. So we need to look at some of these areas and to see whether we may not have to examine the achievements of those grand programs. Your Excellency, this is an era of communication. And young people, very young, you can't believe knows how to punch the phone, I don't know. Now, it's not yesterday. What is going wrong is communicated in a second. What is going right is communicated in a second. So, while we are seeing the theories of AI, digital, yes, thank you, but why don't we relate it further? And we broaden our minds and we structure our minds to understand that communicating people are actually not easy to manage. And that's why, for example, the old laws we are talking about assembly. They don't want assembly of more than, you know why? Because when they assemble, you communicate. But now you don't need even assemblies. So I request Your Excellency that we need to sit down and re-examine what the current era demands of us and whether we are at frequency with it, whether we are at pace with it. Your Excellency, being a general, you won't mind if I quote the Middle East War. You notice, I'm glad I'm speaking to the converted. You notice that no human being has been involved in this war. But you see the effect, see the damage. But this has one message to communicate to us. Technology, AI, all this has come to bring a completely new era. And the world order to come shall be affected by these very essentials. We need to look at them. So that we even more so, how do they relate to the young people? Because the young people are informed. There is nothing they don't know. I used to do some sampling. You find that they have too much information. I think more information than they need. because they are exposed to the terminals of information. Those who plan for us, and I believe Pamela is so competent, we are giving it to you, we at Frequency. Your Excellency, I believe that this idea of changing of mind, there is always a belief that it's done in Chankwanzi. That's not a fact. At least I'm a senior cadre. That's not a fact. This should be, if it is an ideology, if it's in thinking, it should be embedded in the systems that matter for the development of any young person. And then maybe Chankwanzi can be for refurbishing and retouching. If I lived in United Kingdom, the Margaret Thatchers were sourced at a very early age, high school. They knew, the Conservative Party knew who Margaret Thatcher was. Please call herself a daughter of a butcher. But you know how the people go down into these systems and we follow up. Mind searching, you do mind searching, you enter there and you follow it. Then inside there is also built, if you ask in a young European child, he knows what liberals are, he knows what liberal thinking is. It's not done in any academic institution. I mean in a specialized area. I'm not too sure about that. Yes, Chankwanzi, we shall use it to maybe reassemble this and give it an ideological direction. But it has to start from the base in childhood. I was happy, Your Excellency, when I went to Chankwanzi to visit these South African deportees, of course victims of the misfortunes of African ideology. The young children were singing the national anthem in Swahili. And you know, me and you may not be singing the national anthem. In such a week, 1 week, they were singing the national anthem in Swahili. This gives a story about whether if we put the right emphasis at the right levels, whether you want to develop a Ugandan that will be more productive for tomorrow. Yesterday I was managing when you left, we had so many issues about they believe in being around, of course, being in general health and life. But yes, people are prepared for it. But that is because they are so anticipating of one day in a year. That's their dream. We need to infuse and insert the appropriate thinking we want at the critical time and make sure that we do better than. I suppose, Your Excellency, should also stop promising jobs. Yes, we are promising air. Tell young people to develop themselves into. That's how the Indian economy survived. I don't think the Indian economy survived because of these cottage industries, I don't know, jobs. And each of us, the politicians, are promising jobs. Where do you get them? Have no jobs. So while we do our great, while we design our great programs of equipping and scaling, by the way, also scaling for the purpose. There is also, when we conceive things, there is a word, scaling for what? You must skill somebody for consumption. They must be able to be consumed. The market must be, you must study the market and scale according to the dynamics of the market. So, I suppose, Your Excellency, we have had great guidance from the President of Uganda. But see, there must be something else about us. We need to be seen to be really innovating and really supporting his very special efforts. It's been a long time and we need to come in. I suppose the issue of development partners, I go back to one important. These great ideas are meant for, you had a great point that you called it different and then common aspiration. Let me go to the common aspiration. We have a common aspiration. Maybe we need to meet more often and make sure that we are providing for the same problem. We we understand each other, we have got a very symbiotic relationship whose main intention is solving the problems all of us are attempting to solve. Your Excellency, allow me to thank you so much and thank His Excellency the Republic of Uganda for the special energies you are putting in the youth. And I want to use this opportunity to, salute the youth of Uganda and give them assurances that we in this ministry are giving it time. Our part shall be done. And we are a competent team. I can judge myself, I can judge others that I work with. The total effect of it is that they are competent. So the next question is, if we are competent and we can diagnose the problem, who provides the medicine? It may not be ourselves. I am being asked, I'm sure with your permission, Your Excellency, to invite the First Deputy Prime Minister, a very seasoned politician in Uganda, a great name in the Solvor Forum, to put in a few comments, and I since yesterday is supposed to be mine, I want to request her to invite you to. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and we always treasure the support of His Excellency the Republic of Uganda. And maybe as finally, the President of Uganda should give time to the youth. Have a day of riding with them, and they can exchange ideas. You don't know how many ideas they have. Thank you very much, and we thank you everybody for coming to attend our day. And those who didn't come, please pass the message that would have been better with them here. And please, with all these linkages, the Church of Uganda everywhere, is some one frequency, one intention. Thank you very much, and I hereby invite the Right Honorable Deputy Prime Minister Rebecca Aitwara Kadaga.
Thank you very much, Minister Agenda, Excellency Vice President, very distinguished Department of Finance, the districts of the Ministry of Gender, partners, our youth leaders, the chair, and also thank you for the education. It's really important us to be able to share with young people today. I even have questions, issues. First, I want to associate myself with the settlements of Nigeria. Minister of Gender, relation of the population. Everywhere I go in this country, I have a big audience of adults, but I find that the children are 3 times more. That's right. So the other day I was with my minister, the Minister of State for this. We are taking this day of the celebration. One of the messages, the major message for the school was that now we are currently where the press are not interested. The government has said it has not raised money for food, but children are going to school today. And I think that's very nice. So I directed the leaders in that one to ensure that all the schools revert their school buildings, because they either being used by for growing sugarcane and so I said you want the sugarcane and plant fruits, plant things that children can eat. So, Your Excellency, the issue of school gatherings, I think it's now time for us to enforce that. But I also ask the members of Parliament, because they are councillors in their district councils, to go and speak in the district council and ensure that the bylaws are made to ensure that those school gatherings are actually revived and they're active, so that that's the starting point. The second one, Excellency, sometimes I get worried about the monies we send. I've been asking my constituents, I've been asking Where's the yoga money? I can tell you where it is. And that's 500 million shillings. No one can tell you where it is. Then I get to say, Mama, you see, for us in the PDM, they don't call us. I said, but you are just getting this young man in your parish. That is no place. They don't call us. We don't get the money. And they know. So much now there will be a billion in that parish. We feel there will be a billion shillings in each parish. So I wanted to propose that we have a quarterly audit. In fact, I told all the interest groups in my constituency that I want to see a list. Now Gobi has received, Mokam has not yet received, Mokomo has received, so and so is waiting. So that we know in which parish who has received and who has not yet received. So that we know who to address. So I wanted to ask that we design some kind of an audit. Then I don't know who's really supervising the out of school. Because they're really many. Out of school. I don't know who's actually working for them, so renting them, organizing them. So I think that we need to keep the figures and plan a program for them. Because there was a day we were looking at the dropout rate at the primary level, dropout at secondary level, dropout at A level. The attrition rate was so high. So where are they? Where are those people? They're in Uganda.
What? So I think my minister has a big responsibility, and that's the government, to ensure that those people are captured and the program is sent for them. Now on the skilling, many have been skilled. I want to thank the president for the skilling centers, but they're not enough. In Busoga, you have 12 districts, one skilling center in Jinja. The man from the islands has a problem coming to study. We need more of those, but also we need, one, we skill the children. How do they move? You know, I skill you go with your skills. You can't buy a machine, you can't buy a toolbox, you have no capital. So yes, they are skilled, but I think we need to arm them to go to the field and do something. Although there are some success stories, there are some young girls who are trained in Jinja. They've opened a boutique that's selling clothes. That's at least a good success story. So I want us to have a proper follow-up of the young people and have programs for them. Your Excellency, with those few words, I want to invite you to address the International Youth Day.
Thank you very much. The Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, the First Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Affairs, the Honorable General Henry Tumukunde, the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, the Honorable Henry Musasisi, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, the Honorable Dr. Lakisa Masi, Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs, the Honorable Simon Mulongo, the Minister of State for Labor and Industrial Relations, our country representative, UNFPA, Ms. Christine Blokus, I hope I have pronounced the name well, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, and other senior government officials present, the Chairperson, National Planning Authority, Professor Pamela Mbabazi, the Executive Secretary, National Secretariat for Special Interest Groups, and the Executive Director, Uganda Media Center, and all the media houses, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. We are here to celebrate the over 75% of our total population as Uganda. But internationally, the trends seem to be the same, especially in Africa. I welcome you all to this celebration, and I specifically thank the youth for their message, which was delivered by their chairperson. on joining government to monitor the progress and outcomes of projects that are deliberately geared towards uplifting the youth, empowering the youth, and supporting the youth of Uganda. I thank you for treating me very well yesterday in the meeting which you conducted, and welcoming me very warmly and receiving the message of His Excellency the President. The messages you articulated yesterday have already been forwarded to the office of His Excellency the President, and we are waiting for his response. And when he responds, we shall expeditiously relay the messages to you through the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development. I thank the ministers all in the Ministry of Gender for the team spirit and the dedication towards the interests of special interest groups, including you, the youth. Thank you, General, for the undertaking. I thank the First Deputy Prime Minister for creating time for this ceremony. The young leader rightly said that maybe these programs of youth need to be put under one umbrella. And the Right Honorable Prime Minister here is responsible for coordinating all government programs under the law. She has heard directly from you, and that gives her a big spectrum to undertake the requests that you have made in consultation with all government MDAs. The Minister of Finance, you have heard, apparently the issue is not money. You must be a very happy man this morning, because they have said that there is money in Joakali, there is money in PDM, there is money in Emioga, there is money in youth livelihood programs for the youth from development partners and other support. So I think you might go out of this meeting as a man of the day. The only issue that is being raised is that what is it that we are doing repeatedly but not achieving desired results? What is it that we can do differently in order to achieve desired expectations? Because we are dealing with the biggest segment of our population, and once we change their mindset, once we change the way they do things, then that means we change the growth of the economy. And that directly is also directly under you. Production and productivity of the most productive people, who are 75%. And when we were here for the Population Day, His Excellency the President said population is not an issue, but the issue is how to make the population productive. So the 75% of the youth as a segment of the Ugandan population is not a problem at all. But the issue is how to make that population productive, if I can change that from the message of Population Day. I support the idea to have a database. When I was the Minister of Youth for Children Affairs a long time ago, we had initiated that idea. By now, there should be a fully fledged database that should be informing the minister at the end of this year in December that 18 years from now, you should know the number of the youth which will be in Uganda, because they are now a registration of birth. Children are registered. So every year, after the closure of the year, you must know the calendar year, 18 years later, how many youth will be in Uganda, what they will be doing, and what you want them to engage in order to be productive to the economy, planning well for them, and so on and so forth. The youth that the Right Honorable Prime Minister is talking about, those that are out of school, is now a concern globally. Everywhere we know that there is some youth in school, some youth in universities, others in technical institutions, some have graduated, but there are those that drop out from all cycles of education. So those are now the concern of the the global concern world over. I am sure that the Minister of Gender and the team will take it up and continue collaborating with other MDAs in order to give a clear picture to the whole country, but most importantly, to the leadership of the young people. Today, I'm not going to make my message. I am here to represent His Excellency the President, to deliver his message to you, the youth of Uganda, and indeed all the people of Uganda. The Attorney General will have to be informed about the procurement issue which was raised by the youth. He was one of the invited ministers, but I'm sure he has some other undertaking. He will get that information. If he sent a representative, he will get that information. We invite you because we think that when you hear directly from the youth, there's a big difference. So I will now go straight away to present the message of His Excellency the President to you and all the people of Uganda. Countrymen, countrywomen, especially the youth of Uganda, the Bazukulu, I congratulate you all upon reaching International Youth Day. The theme for this year's celebration is Empowering Young People for Inclusive Growth. I thank the organizers of the Youth Day for choosing an appropriate theme. It aligns with the NRM's mission in Kisanja, No More Sleep. The youth and all Ugandans have no more excuses to tolerate poverty in their homes. Now that the infrastructure, markets, and government wealth creation programs are in place, the NRM has addressed the major bottlenecks which hindered growth and development in the past. They included ideological disorientation, a weak state, undeveloped human capital, poor infrastructure, a small market, etc. The country is now stable and peaceful from border to border. We have a healthier and more educated population on account of the NRM's mass immunization campaigns against the killer diseases and the free education and skilling policies, i.e. UPE, USE, the presidential skilling hubs, etc. The investment climate is favorable. It is characterized by low cost of doing business due to good roads, sufficient electricity, cheap labor, etc. The domestic market has grown from 14 million people in 1986 to 46 million people today. We also have the advantage of the East African market of over 500 million people and the African market of 1.4 billion people. Therefore, let everyone wake up and utilize the above advantages to create wealth and jobs. The existing infrastructure is sufficient to facilitate the creation of wealth and jobs in the four sectors of commercial, agriculture, industries, services, and ICT. Although we have achieved economic development, it is not enough. Development belongs to everybody, and when the government builds a tarmac road, installs electricity, piped water, schools and health centers, that is development. It is for the public. But development alone will not put food on your table or money in your pocket. What comes into your house is wealth. The government will continue to extend capital directly to to wealth creators through initiatives such as EMIOGA, the Parish Development Model, the Youth Fund, etc. These funds are not for decoration, nor are they gifts for consumption. They are seed capital intended to help you generate income, produce goods and services, and transform your livelihoods. Finally, to the young people, I wish to remind you that you cannot be a wealth creator if you live a life of indiscipline and parasitism. I urge you to take good care of yourselves. You should avoid drug use, alcohol, and promiscuity because they destroy your health, clarity of mind, and productivity. Protect your lives so that you live long enough to enjoy and build upon the developments we are establishing today. You should also reject the parasitism of depending on others or expecting free money without work. Hard work, self-reliance, and productivity are the hallmarks of patriotic citizens. Look at the nations like Japan. Japan is a small island country with limited natural resources that was devastated in the World War II. Yet today it stands among the world's largest economies because it has built a culture of hard work, discipline, and skills development. Your country, Uganda, has abundant land, great wealth, a young population, and peace. With the peace we fought for and enjoy today, no Ugandan should remain idle. Let everyone participate in building a nation of wealth creators, not leisure seekers. Acquire practical skills, organize yourselves into enterprise groups, utilize government capitalization, and build a strong, self-reliant Uganda. I thank you and wish you peaceful International Youth Day celebrations.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for ably representing the President at this commemoration. And once again, allow me thank everyone who is here, all the partners, the ministers, and the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. And now this brings us to the end of our virtual celebration. And we are going to have a photo moment on the first floor. Allow me once again wish you all and all the Ugandans a happy International Youth Day celebration for God and my country. Oh, I think the message of the President was so sweet that I lost my mind and forgot that we need to do the anthems in reverse order. And then we can go for the photo moment.
Let's all head to first floor.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Did you know that our number one value as a nation is to respect and protect the environment? With the current population increase of Uganda and industrialization, this has increased pressure on the natural resources, resulting into environmental degradation and global warming. Developing countries like Uganda could face 80% of the global climate change effects by the year 2030 if no action is taken. Join us here on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda, on our Eco Plus program, where we bring you an in-depth analysis of issues that are disastrous to our environment. Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. only on your loved station, the National Broadcaster.
Weekend on UBC.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, watching the show? We are the Teens Crown on your television right now, Magic One and UBC.
You already know, got every head turning. I see the press coming, so what you telling me now? Who's that girl? Who's that girl? What's popping?
Senior ones and the senior fives, all I can tell you is you'll be very welcomed at Musa High School. You know, at our school we call the senior ones the babies of the school. Your every wish is catered for. I mean,
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
irrigation systems continue to be the best solutions to drought-related challenges, especially if the country is to achieve food security. In the following report, UBC TV's Farm Matters visits the Nikad Agro Farm in Kasese district, where water, research and intention meet with a vision to establish the first ever capital city of tomatoes in Africa. In the bushes of Nyakakakindo village, Kalgibati Ward, Hima Town Council in Kasese district, is a large-scale controlled environment agriculture, commonly known as greenhouse farming.
Because this variety is not resistant.
The dream is to establish what has been termed as the capital city of tomatoes in Africa.
We do vegetables and we do call it organic farming, where you have tomatoes, the big ones, and then the cherry tomatoes for salad. Then you have bell peppers, red and yellow, and chilies. Then we are going to introduce cucumber as well. Now, whatever you will see in the plant means we are trying to protect it from our viruses or bacteria. Whatever you see in the ground then is resistant to those bacteria, whatever. But we are not like other farmers, as we said. Even the tomatoes are enclosed. So the tomato will never receive rain, it will never get direct sunshine, it will never get a flood. Meaning you have controlled the growing environment, not a neighbor affecting you. Because what we have here, you have a good agricultural practice, but a neighbor will not have. It rains and all of you suffer the same consequences.
To address the impacts of climate change, the Nikad Agro-Business Farm is strategically located on the sidelines of River Mobuku, where water is extracted for irrigation purposes.
You cannot do things the way your grandfather did it. No. And it is a shame if we begin lamenting, you see there is a drought, conquer it. Because at the end of that, even when there is a drought, there is always water in the underground reservoirs. Pump it from down, irrigate. Now, the volcanic rock that we are using, one, it's not soil, it is sterile. So it doesn't have any nutrient. And two, it also has no disease. Three, as you can see, it does not retain water. So there is no any chance that the plant roots will rot. So that's why it is preferred. And it is gotten from Kisoro. Why Kisoro? It is where it is in plenty.
Anything you do, you are competing with the outside world. The idea is you are doing farming as a business. It's not a hobby. You know, our parents before and our grandparents used just to grow for their hobby because they found them growing. But for you to embrace business as farming as a business, you have to do your market survey. If today, for example, I want to grow something like cabbage here and I'm competing somebody out on the field, there is no competitive advantage of me growing cabbage inside the greenhouse. I'm just losing money for the structure. That is why you have to go for the high value crop, something like the herbs. You have the basil, you have mint, you have French beans, because those are very high end crops. And of course now you have tomato.
You have to control pests. The first you have to begin with hygiene. But also you can see the place is locked with nets, so they will not fly in. The only area where they pass will be at the door. Now, to minimize even that, we have got two doors, the double. It's a double lock. So, as you enter, a fly might enter, but they will not be like outside. Now, should it be, let's say it is a challenge, then we use what we call trappings. They are plastic sheets that have glue, and they are light in color, so they attract.
The electronically controlled irrigation system supplies both fertilizers and water concurrently to the units covering about 9 acres.
So here we have solar, a generator and electricity. But the solar is also not enough. That's why we supplement it with generate and electricity. But you can come and see the systems here.
Unlike other areas, our plant is, as the Honorable said, they are planted in pots and in volcanic ash. Now, so that means it is you to supply every water and every fertilizer that crop needs. It is all controlled from here. So for each one pipe, it is going to a different greenhouse. And then we regulate the time automatically from the phone. That is how I'm able to control my irrigation. If I want to add more water when it is very hot, like today, it is generally cold, so we will reduce the water just from my phone.
Inside the greenhouse, it's a sea of green, row after row of tomato plants standing tall, heavy with green fruit. Each plant supported, irrigated and thriving. The harvest period goes up to 9 months.
The crop is just like a human being. You have to take care of it. And we say there are 3 key things. Number 1 is feeding, what they feed. You have to give the plant a balanced diet. Whether it is what we call micronutrients and the macronutrients. You have the nitrogen, you have the phosphorus, you have to balance everything. So that is 1. Number 2, it is what we call crop protection. You have heard say we use neem. And the idea is visit the crop every day so that when you see something, before even it becomes huge, you have already applied what is supposed to be applied. Number 3 is called now maintenance. If you see our crop, as the crop grows, you have to reduce some leaves so that also the plant can live, can be able to breathe and live very well. You are maintaining the same way you clean your house. It's the same way you are maintaining the plant.
When do you harvest?
So first of all, after it, I go to the nursery. I come with the seeds, I put them in the nursery. In the nursery they stay for 21 days. Then I come and plant here the seedling now when it is 21 days old. From that 21 days, you count another 75 days. That is the first day you will have your first harvest. From there on, you harvest every day for the next 9 months. Yes.
For the next 9 months, in each plant, how many tomatoes do you harvest?
Now it depends. You know, sometimes the weather is the determinant, and sometimes just it depends which fruit came first. So there is a day you will harvest like 3 in a plant, other days 1, other days in this plant you don't have, but the other one you have 4.
But because here it is hot,
yes,
the one which is in pink or yellow, because of the heat, tomorrow it will be red.
Yes, exactly.
Now when it is the rainy season, where you've been harvesting less every day, you harvest after every 2 days.
Yes, you skip a day.
The spacing of the tomato plants is intentional.
Remember, it is not taking anything. The spacing of tomato is between 40 centimeters to 50. That is the standard. In between plants, that is how you space them. Remember also, the reason for spacing is because of diseases. What you realize with our farm is the space in between. That means there is a lot of aeration. If you go to other farms, you are walking and the plants are touching you. But me, I have compensated this with this one so that I can be able to walk in between and there is free aeration.
Apparently, the Mikad farm harvests about 4 tons of tomatoes daily with its market in areas of Kampala.
Here now, the other first one, we get 1 to 1.5 tons a day. Now here, you are into 3 to 4 tons. You are not affected by any weather situation.
Yes.
Now, whereas in people are crying of famine in Karamoja, here you can't have famine because you've used science to solve challenges of nature. So basically, you are not allowing nature to dictate to you when to produce and when to not. And, there is no excuse where Dubai can produce, Egypt can produce, Israel can produce when they are in typical desert. Now here, even where we have shrubs like in Karamoja, we call it a desert when it is not. So we have no excuse. We just have to embrace science.
Yes. So
Over 400 people are employed through the entire value chain, with the local community not spared.
On this project, we have 460 workers directly employed. Then we have got suppliers now of food. You know, they eat here breakfast and eat here lunch. So those are the indirect people. But as you've seen, this is the only village currently that has no poverty in Uganda. Because this Nyakachindo village, each household has got an employee here. The lowest earning 480,000, that's the lowest. But it goes also up to millions. Now it means in 2 months, each household has gotten PDM from here, the rest is profit. Now when we started, this was bush.
Yeah.
Everywhere bush, bad houses and so on. But when we started, you can see these are cattle keepers. Now each household has gotten now cattle, sheep, not from loans, but because they are earning. Now basically we have transformed the village and the parish. You move around, you're not going to see poverty.
And also don't forget, every morning, every evening, some people have to move using border. So again, they support the border business because we pay for fare. Yes.
And even pay local tax.
Uh-huh.
We pay local service tax religiously.
Yes.
For 7 years, so that our council is also benefiting.
Yes.
In the locality, the farm has extended its irrigation strategy to support over 14 acres of Hass avocado. Its lengthy lifespan and availability of markets across the East African community informed the decision of the Nekad farm.
Everybody, including us, we are going into Hass avocado to certify that market. But to do it right, you need to do it the way it's supposed to be done, because this was a variety that was developed not from Uganda. Therefore, to benefit from it, you need to do it the way it's supposed to do. The spacing, to make sure that where you've put it, the terrain has to meet the drainage issues that affect it. Like for example, it's not supposed to be in waterlogged areas. There is not a friend to water logging. And that's why here we've raised the soils to create a terrace, so that when it rains, the water can slip through. And then you need to give it the water and the fertilization it needs. Now, why you do this drip irrigation is to make sure that the plant gives you the maximum. Now, the ordinary peasant in Hass avocado will depend on rain. And when it is a dry season, the avocados will abort. They will try to put the young ones and then you will see them drop off because they are failed to get the water. It means when they abort, you will not be able to get the quantity that you estimated your garden will give you. Now with the environment we have in Uganda and irrigation, it means you're able to harvest two cycles in a year. If you're an ordinary peasant, most likely it could be one, because you don't control the fertilization and irrigation. When you're planting, you need to know the soil as well. So it is very important for us farmers to always take our soil to the laboratory. You can have the government analytical laboratory, you can have another laboratory to check your soil, to understand its biology, understand its chemistry. Now like here, we have the certifications of everything. We know the biology of the soil, we know the biology of it, but also we know the diseases that are there. And when you go in Uganda, most soils like in Africa, you will find virus, you will find bacteria. It means if there is bacteria, there is virus, you need to find a solution. And the solution that we identified as here, we had to get the variety that is resistant to virus, resistant to bacteria, even resistant to fungus, so that you reduce the loss, you reduce the plant not living up to its life expectancy, and also you reduce on the amount of chemicals you will apply to counter those. However, there are pests that you may not control, like birds and the others. That one we shall employ the human elements to chase them away. If possible, if you can't, then you can even put nets, but humans are enough to chase them away.
At a large scale, one mistake affects thousands of plants. Such research-based and intentional farming remains solutions to food security challenges.
These plants you're seeing, they are 6 months, and they are looking so healthy, not because of magic, no. You applied the science of the crop. In Africa, we go where we have competitive advantages, and this type of agriculture is one of the areas where we may not have the advantage in artificial intelligence. The Chinese and Americans are tussling it out. We don't have the advantages in information technology. But despite having artificial intelligence, having information technology and other technologies, those people have to eat. So we said, okay, we shall feed the human race. And that is one of the decisions we took. But also people fall sick. And that's why we went also into medicinal farming. Farm medicine, process it, and make the final medicine on the shelf.
The effects of climate change have been attributed as the major concerns, calling for irrigation systems to aid farmers. Most available water sources are decreasing, causing farmers to count losses due to prolonged dry seasons.
We constructed it to hold water, which we pump from the river Mobuku. We have an extraction permit. So it comes here, and then it's what we use to irrigate gardens of avocado. We use the same system to irrigate the tomato gardens.
Government, through the solar-powered irrigation systems project, has secured about 434 systems across the country. Recently, Parliament passed a loan to the tune of over 168 million euros from the UK Export Finance and Citibank to advance phase 2 of the project. The irrigation dams established here not only provide water but are also used for fish farming. Each dam harbors over 10,000 fish, feeding on the rejects from the tomato farm.
So from the farm, once we finish harvesting, we sort, and the premium product goes to our customers, and then you have the rejects. These rejects, be it the pepper or tomato, we don't throw them away. This is what we use to feed our fish, which is inside here, this pod.
The fish also provide natural fertilizers, which the irrigation system concurrently pushes to feed the Hass avocado.
So the fish will eat our reject, and then they give us nitrogen in the water, and that is what we are using to irrigate in the avocado. So yeah, but I have seen some. Yeah. So, and then of course after every 6 months we harvest the fish for eating and also for selling.
Now this particular pumps from the pond to send to the avocado garden. Now because there is a sensor here on the other side, once the feeding of the avocado through irrigation is done, then it will send a signal here and it will switch off automatically.
All said, the real beauty of this project lies underground and along every drip line. The irrigation system delivers exactly what each plant needs. When it needs it, no waste, no guesswork. It's a quiet system, but it's what turns acres of tomatoes into consistency, profit, and food security.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
It's an honor to be here. You're watching Unlocking Marital Bliss with me, Cyrus Rod, and it's always a pleasure to be here. I'm glad you are tuned in to the #1 show in the land. When I talk about the land, I'm not talking about UG only. I'm talking about the world. Yes, this is where you'll learn how to succeed in marriage and not to struggle. How to succeed in marriage and not to struggle. And I'm excited that you are tuned in. Call a friend, tell a friend, Unlocking Marital Bliss is here, and we are ready to roll. And tonight, I find myself in the hot seat. And I'm glad and honored that I have somebody that is ready to really push this far and tell us about unlocking marital bliss and how to help each other out and how to succeed in marriage. So when I take the hot seat, he's going to take the lead. Yes, it's good once in a while, and I step back and somebody else steps forward. And at this very moment, allow me to surrender the reins, to give everything up for the one and only legend, Joseph Sabiti. Joe, you're so much welcome to Unlocking Marital Bliss.
Nice to be back here.
Nice to be back.
Yes, thank you for the great work that you're doing. Of course, our job is simple. We are damaging ignorance, destroying it completely, and trying to get the things done as they should be in marriage. So, 2 words for today in our conversation with Pastor Cyrus Rod: controls and love. Many of us went to school. We know English. We speak a lot of English. Some speak through the nose. Others speak the African way like me. But many times we struggle with the meanings of these 2 words. And then the pastor likes to take us to the Bible. We have the dictionary, the world, and the Bible. We'll try to reconcile those 3 and see how it happens. Let's start with the concept of love and controls. Are they that much different, the 2 words?
They are actually very different. Very different. Control and love. Many people believe they're in love, but in actual sense they're in control. Control and love. Control is selfishness. Control springs out of fear. Love springs out of faith. The 2 don't walk together.
Hi, this is Chef Titus. We are back again, 1,000,005 here at Lake Victoria Granada Hotel. Please enjoy the show. Tomato, avocado, and onion salad. $1,000,005, we're having avocado. We are going to cut our avocado. This time round, we are going to dice it. We are going to make diced. So we chop our avocado very well into small. We dice. We put in our bowl. We bring our onion. We dice also. We put in the bowl. We bring tomato. Tomato also we are going to dice. We put in the bowl. We are going to chop coriander. Coriander leaves. We also put in the bowl. Here we have some salt. We add there. Here we have black olives. our olive oil and vinegar. Vinegar, we are going to put here vinegar. Yes. And then we are going to add in just a teaspoon of vinegar, a tablespoon of vinegar, and a tablespoon of olive oil. And then we are going to mix. Okay? We are going to mix. So here we are going to present our salad. Tomato, avocado, and onion salad. We are going to put some inside the glass, and then we are going to make the glass lie. Okay? And we are going to add some in front of the glass so that it will appear like it's just poured out of the glass. Okay? When the glass comes in, it becomes a fine dining show. So with glass, the higher you go, the higher the material changes. We are going to use our balsamic dressing like the previous time, and we are going to garnish our salad, our tomato salad. Then you add in you now enhance the salad with the olives. This is our salad. Tomato, avocado, and onion salad is ready. A meal in 5 minutes is just ready for you.
Consider these fruits very healthy when you are expecting. Number 1, oranges. Oranges are very excellent as a source of vitamins and folate. We also have bananas. If you're expecting, eat as much bananas as you can because it can help you in potassium, fiber, and vitamin B6 that at times we swallow through vitamins tablets. We also have berries. We have strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. They aid in hydration and in iron absorption in the body. So those are very good fruits when you're expecting as a mother. Consider always putting them so close to you. Have mangoes. Mangoes are packed with vitamin C, and it's important for visual and building immunity of the baby and the mother as well. We also have avocado. Yes, avocado do provide a lot of healthy fats, folate, iron. They also boost energy and give you, very good skin to the baby as well. We also have apples. Apples are also a very good source of fiber. So there are very many fruits you can eat, but those are some of the most safest. Yes, avoid things like pineapples. Pineapples are known not to be very safe. Yes, you can research about them, but they're not very safe when you are in the first trimester especially. And then also guavas in the first trimesters are not very well recommended. And the other thing also are pawpaws. Pawpaws, especially raw pawpaws, yes, they are not very healthy. Yes, chances are high that if you consume them in the early trimesters or early days of your pregnancy, you are likely to cause some complications like miscarriages. So those are some of the fruits you can share with us. Other fruits that a mother can take, can blend, can eat, so that they keep a healthy pregnancy. This is a journey to motherhood. I am Tisha Zita.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Uganda's coffee story is an exciting phase through the Government of Uganda funded National Coffee Seed System Project, the National Coffee Research Institute, NACORI, and the policy guidance of NARO works with MAIF coffee department, registered nursery operators, and farmer groups to deliver quality coffee seedlings to farmers. Introducing Next Wave, the next generation of coffee. Chituza Robusta coffee varieties with higher yields, drought tolerance, and resistance to diseases. As Uganda's coffee exports grow from 3.5 million to over 8.7 million bags, Nakori research is helping drive productivity, quality, and competitiveness. Beyond production, Nakori is unlocking new opportunities through coffee value addition, creating innovative products and higher incomes for farmers, processors, and entrepreneurs. By developing unique flavor profiles and world-class coffee innovations, Nakori is helping Uganda's transition from exporting volumes of coffee to exporting value. Nakori's innovations undergo a rigorous research process that makes them sustainable for the next generation. Drought-tolerant coffee varieties that are cultivated, planted in Uganda's drought-prone areas. Nakori, research, innovation, prosperity.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
naye mama simukuta ayimba bwazina n'omutima nga gwepika yamanya obulamu bwebwoma tanimba mwana talimba kabube munzikiza najja nasonga aleta ekitangala seyawangula mundeke ono mwana yamfuna libatima mwe mutuleke tuli bayita nga twewase wemba ne bwenjagala tia ebirala tonyumisa tia wemba ni musanyu lyange ebirala maseetaaga ze wemba ne bwenjagala tia ebirala tonyumisa tia wemba ni musanyu lyange ebirala maseetaaga eze wabangayo agambayo ngagenze abaddewo ngalinze mwenneyo nga mukanudde amaaso tewabangayo avangayo nga mutute abaddewo nga tudde mwenneyo nga mumulaba bulabi bwebuzeya wangula mundeke ono mwana yamfuna libatema mwe mutuleke tuli bayita nga twewase wemba ne bwenjagala tia ebirala tonyumiza tia wemba ni musanyu lyange ebirala maseetaaga ze wemba ne bwenjagala tia ebirala tonyumiza tia wemba ni musanyu lyange ebirala maseetaaga eno ndyawe nkoza naye mama simukuta ayimba bwazina n'omutima nga gwempika yamanya obulamu bwebwoma tanimba mwana talimba kabube munzikiza najja nasonga aleta ekitangala seyawangula mundeke ono mwana yamfuna libatima mwe mutuleke tuli bayita nga twewase wemba ne bwenjagala tia ebirala tonyumiza tia wemba ni musanyu lyange ebirala maseetaaga ze wemba ne bwenjagala tia ebirala tonyumiza tia wemba ni musanyu lyange ebirala maseetaaga
Gukutula n'ennyingo gutomeza n'ebisenge. I'm too addicted to him malinga sente. Taliko na expiry date. Ulika said njagala mbewe nti njangu. A little bit closer baby. Sembe omezane chejo. Sija kubeno. Njagala kuweyo. Ntegeyo. Sija kubeno. Njagala kuweyo. If you're the president, I'm a first lady. If you're the king, baby, I'll be the queen. My baby, you're me composer. You know the music, you the composer. You know my melodies, you the controller. You got piano, you got string guitar. Django. Feel kondaira yegwe mukwano sikule kandaira ono wange simule kandaira ono wange yansanira guno mukwano ngo feel kondaira ono wange simule kandaira nahidi simule kandaira naira omukwano gono gunkubanga mwenge gukutula n'ennyingo gutomeza n'ebisenge. I'm too addicted to him malinga sente. Taliko na expiry date. Ulika said njagala mbewe nti njangu. A little bit closer baby. Sembe omezane chejo. Sija kubeno. Njagala kuweyo.
Bazobola kukuwa something sexy, get in at the remix. Masipulina na nina mutima chuma. Vika, looking sexy, sexy. Oh my God, how when you need Jono Nyayo na Jendi. Come over now, little weekend. Owoli na byotabula nonyweza nenkutukulumala nafuwa kanyoka wulira musawo yatamiza tobiddamu kwe
tononyeza kukwata mavumbavumba kukulaga eri kutwala munda slowly emotionally onzita beba kufa kotomunabunda weronjo yakonkona
Sigulawo weronjo yakonkona Sigulawo osuka webakoma
ronjo yakonkona basobola kukuwa something sweet sejagala kukuwa something sweeter
basobola kukuwa something good sejagala kukuwa
officers, which I think they are state. They call them state who are holding on state briefs. They only tell you plead guilty. At the end of the day, you are going to be ordered to sweep around to do community work, without necessarily explaining to him the implication. And the gentleman said, "I did not commit this thing, but for the sake of this, let me accept." This happened especially upon the people who were arrested during the elections. Sarah, you are representing...
No, you are protected. Please, Honorable Dala, you are protected. Pay attention to the chair. Address the chief.
Especially the people who were arrested during elections. Many were arrested. At that time, the prisons were full. Of course, even the prison people were complaining. Yes, we welcome what was happening about the plea bargain, but people right now are suffering because of the conviction, the conviction note which was put against their name. How can we address this to get a fair and speedy trial against these small offenses, not necessarily entering plea bargain? Finally, in the meantime, temporarily, the chairman, finally, Chief Registrar, there is this this animal called JLOS, Justice, Law and Order Sector, where several entities, police, judiciary, prisons, come on board to discuss various issues. I understand that you have discussed severally about people who have been in detention for more than 8 years, and they have never been tried. By virtue of my office where I sit in, I interact with police, I interact with prisons, and they only throw it to you that you are the ones who are not hearing these cases, yet you are also throwing it to police and DPP about the scarcity of the state attorneys and the police's failure to investigate on time. And in such circumstances, you also deny bail. You are making it harder for these citizens to get liberty, and at the same time, or be tried. You have not tried them. You are not giving them bail, so they are in detention for more than 8 years. Finally, about the case which is in court, I'm sorry to mention about this, but this is not sub judice. You have issued guidance to the public how to access a certain case which is ongoing. It is extremely hard to access court because people can, yet justice must be in open court. Everyone should be following, but you have not put avenues. For example, to put us either to create a Zoom link or to create screens in the compound of court or in other courts for the public to follow. This has put the judiciary in my own way in a disrepute that you are hiding something. You are trying to convict a person while you are hiding them from following. Can you please, I'm advising, put screens, create Zoom links for the public to follow what is happening in court?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, honorable members, I had to give the Shadow Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs more time because it has a constituency he represents in this committee. Now, let's have from the other members, but we have another entity coming in at 12:30 sharp, and yet we will need to accord them more time to respond to some of the queries we have raised. So, Salongo, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is a very simple one. Madam Chief Registrar, I am one of the people who wish you the very best in that chair. So you count me among those. Mr. Chairman, I thank you for your insight, but there are two issues which I thought they should also be addressed by this panel. The first one is derived from Article 126(2)(b), that justice shall not be delayed. In reference to the case backlog, we have so many cases which have taken more than 10, 15 or so years, especially in land. And in your presentation, you highlighted that this case backlog, especially in land, has even scared away investors. So what's your take on this? Because justice delayed is justice denied. What's the essence of someone getting a judgment after so many years when even the status quo has changed? What's the essence?
Maybe just before you, does the system that we use, either ICMIS or the others, show how old the case is and the last action taken when it was filed? Are we able to see that there is this 20-year-old case, this 15-year-old case, to give it priority in cause listing? Okay.
Thank you, Chairman. The next one is in reference to Article 126(2)(e), substantive justice being administered without undue regard to technicalities. We have rightly observed that ECMIS is one of the biggest technicalities that the court system has created. So many judicial officers either delegate their powers or relegate their powers, actually, simply quoting the ECMIS system. So many of us, including yourselves, we are born before computer, and you are enrolling us on a computer system where we don't have the knowledge, you have not taught us, you've never carried out any substantive sensitization of your judicial officers. So many of them, especially in those up-country courts, claim that they don't know the system, so they rely on either clerks or someone you've designated to do that aspect. The same applies to advocates, the likes of us, whoever. And then how about the litigants who are unrepresented? The unrepresented litigants, how do you expect them to get on board the ECMIS system without sensitization?
Salong, are you suggesting we go back analog?
Chairman, that is evidence from the bench.
Oh, you're giving feedback.
I am giving feedback because I represent.
Because I will not accept to go analog again.
No. I am urging the judiciary to do more into that aspect of telling us, sensitizing the litigants, sensitizing the advocates, and even the judicial officers. The last one.
Thank you very much. You're giving others a chance too. Thank you very much. Now, I always need to pick the expert view from Honorable Chitiyo before. But if a matter has been raised by a colleague, in the interest of time, let's ignore that and move on to new matters.
Thank you so much, Chair, for the guidance. And I want to thank the judiciary for this presentation. I failed to declare my interest because I'm now out of judiciary, officially. But I want to tell you, Mr. Chair, don't worry, Mr. Chair. But on a lighter note, Mr. Chair, I want to bring to the notice of honorable members, that judiciary has had enormous migration to the better. Like Honorable Salongo is talking about, there has been a migration from CAS into HMEs. This is to simplify the registration of cases, especially in urban areas where lawyers like him operate. The other analog part is for village courts, where there is no maybe network issues and all that. But we must appreciate that judiciary is moving to the better. I want to handle on a few things on fair hearing, speed hearing, and bail, like the Honorable Shadow Minister of Justice has talked about. And I would like to quickly that there is also another improvement on quick disposal of cases. That judiciary has been put under pressure to dispose of registered cases 60 days limit. And I think that's a plus for them that require an applause. On political cases, I also want to, because I was part of this system, I want to tell you that when a political case comes before you, like most judicial officers, there is enormous pressure on both sides, especially when it comes to application of bail. You're under pressure from those who are pushing it and those who want to get out. What is the safest net for a judicial officer? To avoid serious issues that would come to you as a person. Sometimes it is safer for you to remand a suspect or an accused person for a small period of time to reduce the pressure from both sides, and it should not be prolonged. Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Justice and Constitutional Affairs. I need to be. Thank you.
Is overruled.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. We all kept quiet.
These people gave you time.
Yes.
And listened to you. I want you to listen to them. Please proceed.
Honorable Abdallah, Chair, I want to, first maybe I would be the Moses and the Joseph in the Bible in this part here. But above that, we need to appreciate that judiciary is doing its best to serve the people of Uganda in terms of justice delivery. I have only three issues. One, that was a preamble. One, Mr. Chair, is yes, Mr. Chair. Now this one now goes to the representation.
Remaining 2 minutes.
Mr. Chair, I've been enormously interrupted by members, but now this goes to the people I represent, because that is where I want to. I come from Kapchorwa Sabei sub-region, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, there are several meetings taking place. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I come from Sabei sub-region with a total population of now over 500,000 people. We have Chief Magistrates Court, one, seated at Kapchorwa, and there is a Magistrates Court in Bukwa. In Kwen District, there is no single operating Magistrates Court, and that's where my interest is. I need to inform our judicial officers who are here that we need a Magistrates Court in Kwen District, because jurisdictional issues now come in. Where do they go? Do they take their cases to Bukwa? Do they take their cases to Kapchorwa? That's one. Two, on that basis, we rely on High Court in Mbale. And we have three issues that involve around there. Language barrier. We are the only Kalenjin speaking people in Uganda. And so when our people come to Mbale, they face enormous language complication, especially where there are no court interpreters. We only have one office attendant in Mbale. We don't have a translator in Mbale. And so we have our people having injustices around there.
Important to the
distance.
We need the High Court.
Yes, the distance from Kapchorwa, Sabei sub-region to Mbale is a problem. Cost implication, what and all this. So we need a high court circuit in Sebei station
so
at
much.
Kapchorwa.
Thank you so much. Your last one.
Now, Mr. Chair, I sit on the budget committee, and I saw there is a budget cut from 633 point something billion that was initially planned by judiciary to 479.3 something. Of course, that's an inadequate amount of money. And of course, because I sit on this committee and also on the budget, I want us to have a negotiation to increase that amount to at least 580 billion. That would sort out many things that judiciary, especially on infrastructure. Now that I'm pushing for a high court circuit in Kapchorwa, that amount will cater for the part of the infrastructure. Lastly, on amendment, lastly, Mr. Chair, which is very important, just one. Just one, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much.
The last one, just the last one, Chair.
Honorable Peter, let's give him a chance. The people of Soroti should be represented.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. First of all, I want to support my colleague. They really deserve a high court statute in Kapchorwa, because politically, Sebei is a region, and all regions apart from Sebei have high court statutes. So they deserve.
But Peter, that has been deliberated on very well by Honorable Chitio.
Yeah, so I just want to support him.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Honorable Masho?
No, I am still submitting.
Honorable Masho? Okay, Peter, finish your point.
So, whereas I have conflict of interest, but I want to talk on something which is important. Initially, when they started the JELOS, and I was part of the team which started it, it was supposed to ease coordination and then sharing of information. Initially, judiciary was not there. They had a changing system, which I was also part of. But when they came to JELOS, apparently they have divorced from JELOS again, and now the judiciary is on their own. I wonder why the judiciary decided to go alone, because now the coordination, the sharing of information is going to be affected. So why did the judiciary again divorce? Then secondly, on salary, these guys have not talked about, the lady talked about salary enhancement. We had the DPP here and other institutions. Is the judiciary implementing their salary enhancement, or they are facing challenges? You wanted to know.
On that one, I can authoritatively tell you the chief magistrate's increment has not been honored to the fullest. Is that the position? Yes, and that's they are the ones who have the reason, not me. But that one, at least I have we know. Honorable Marshall.
Thank you very much, Chair. And very briefly, first of all, I want to thank the team from the judiciary. We are very satisfied; they're doing great. Secondly, on the issue of Pakwach, we have the rangers always arrest fishermen on the waters of Jonam. That's not the problem. The problem is they take them to Masindi. I already asked the Minister of Justice here. We have a magistrate's court in Pakwach, which is just meters from where they arrest these people. But they take them up to Masindi. And right now we have over 59 people in the prisons of Masindi, unfollowed, plea not taken, just because of distance. Masindi is over 140 kilometers from Pakwach. I already told the minister, I wish I could have a reply. Secondly, Pakwach doesn't have a court hall. Pakwach rents a shop as a magistrate's court, and the shop is next to a disco, next to a saloon, and next to a border repair station. Very ugly. I wanted to know how these courts are being built. At one time I heard that they were supposed to build a court in Pakwach. It never materialized. Now that I am in the chair in Pakwach, I wanted us to see how we can work on that. Finally, on the issue of the transfers, we have friends who are magistrates and in your service. They seem to believe I also join them in believing so, that the transfers in the judiciary are opaque, that there are some specific people who work in the cities and those who work in the jungles. Could we come clean on the policy of transfers? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Gender balance, Honorable Najuma.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted also the judiciary to talk about the 330K, that is 330,000 that is given to magistrates that covers housing, transport, lunch. Remember, most of them operate in rural areas. I think this is a way of demoralizing them. Then also, they have no work. It is too little. They get it for a month. That is too little. They have no vehicles, and most of them operate. They should also have priorities. Then also, Chair, they have no working tools. If you come to my court in Semuto, you can get embarrassed. So they have no working tools. Then lastly, there are scenarios that judiciary can handle that is embarrassing. Suspects appear for court. They wait for the magistrate. Later on, they are informed. You know the magistrate is not coming, so you take them back. Imagine such a scenario. May I request they should communicate in time so that they don't waste resources. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Pio.
Thank you very much, Chair, and the judiciary. I came in a little late, but I think I caught most of the submissions, and thank you very much for your work, for your service to this country. Quickly, and you will forgive me, Chair, because I'm going to ask some very uncomfortable questions because they really must be asked. Recently, judiciary, there were transfers different from the normal transfers my colleagues are talking about. Transfers associated with the granting of bail to opposition leaders and certain activists. Persons perceived to be critical of government. And they were accompanying, notes or submissions to that effect that these judicial officers were later transferred because of the services that they rendered. That may not have made others uncomfortable.
Is that factual?
That's what my constituents are talking about. I'm a representative of my people.
But we have to be very cautious with any factual statements.
What I'm asking is that, what I'm asking the judiciary, Honorable Chair, is regarding the safety of our judicial officers.
Okay, that's important.
I would like clarification on that. If they are comfortably doing their work without due interference, that is one. Two, on the issue of case backlogs, is there a mechanism for the judiciary to monitor whether adjournments and administrative decisions, including the transfer of magistrates, are contributing to delays, especially on bail applications, and undermining judicial independence?
Thank you very much.
And quickly, finally, because I'm really quick, Chair, 1 minute. On the issue of barring the press, especially, from attending hearings, judiciary. Especially yesterday, we had returns from the courts of law. A presiding officer issued instructions that the hearing associated with the Mwanga Chivumbi case would be done behind closed doors. I would like clarification on that, because we believe that justice dies in darkness. Just to substantiate on what my shadow minister said, would it be okay for the judiciary to guide that the public, especially for matters that are of great public interest, like that one, the political interest cases, be allowed to be accessed by the public, as my shadow minister stated? Would really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Honorable Vaseke.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. I have two questions. One, from your presentation, you listed the ongoing constructions and renovations all over the country. I would like to know from you, whether you have all the required resources to see these projects to completion. Then too, what measures have you put in place to prevent corruption and unethical conduct among the judicial officers?
Thank you so much. Oh, you see?
And finally, it's also about case curriculum, because when you look at page 15, the economic impact.
25 trillion.
25 trillion. I would like to know what you are doing to avert this trend.
Okay. Thank you so much. Honorable Yab.
Thank you, Chair. I will be very brief. Number one, there is this issue of specialized courts. One is arrested in Bwindi, impenetrable forest, in Chigezi. They bring this person to Uganda Road. What is the judiciary doing to operationalize specialized courts in Uganda? Even the cases of migration I've asked here before, Chair, we have issues of refugees and migration. What is the judiciary doing in terms of putting a specialized court for these foreigners that have immigration-related issues? Secondly, Chair, on page 7, the accounting officer has talked about small claims, and she says that it's operational in 223 courts. But I don't know where she gets the figure, because from my understanding, when you do the mathematics, the chief magistrate operational courts are 92, and the magistrate court is 145. And when you add those two, it comes 237. Maybe I'm having a different book, but if not, I want them to be on record so that they can brief us.
Thank you.
And the third one, Chair, is that, yes. What is the judiciary agenda on career development and even promotion of some people? We have seen some people who work as magistrates. They begin at that level, they even retire as a chief magistrate or even as a magistrate. What is the judiciary really doing on that one? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Campagna. Very, very briefly, honorable members, we have our next team here with us.
Thank you, Chair. My concern is, I have two, on small claims. There is a tendency where money lenders have abused small claims. Process servers, they will go, come back and swear that they have served. And then after, they will come back to court, get a court order to go and arrest this person that he was served, he never responded, and this person is brought before court, taken direct to prison. And this has been taking place. I don't know whether judiciary is aware, and what steps are you going to take? Because it is being abused, mostly money lenders. The person will just see police coming for him, you were served, you never responded. Secondly, on interpreters, to be specific, it is something I witnessed in my district, where an interpreter is not from that given district. Okay, he does not speak the language Rugwele, to be specific. He learned Rugwele and is struggling to interpret and look at the injustice where someone has said a different word and the interpreter is struggling to say something different, and the person will end up not getting just because the magistrate is picking a different thing from the accused person, specifically what he has said.
How bad. Thank you so much for raising that. Let's go to Honorable Ruhindi.
Mr. Chairman and honorable members, first of all, I would like to appreciate this interaction. I have already declared my conflict of interest. I worked with most of you for many years. What I want to talk about is the issue of cooperation. We have come a long way. In the olden days, we all remember
the days of Montesquieu in France, the French Revolution, the calibration of the principle of separation of powers. At that point in time, its application was very strict, I can tell you. Separation of powers. But in modern times, we are migrating from that aggressive competition to cooperation. Why cooperate? Article 1 of our Constitution talks about power belonging to the people. Article 126 talks about the judiciary, that the judiciary should be a people-centered judiciary. So we account to the people. With us as members of parliament, we go back to the people every 5 years to assess us. With you, we call you here. I remember in my olden days as a member of parliament, there is one person we called to answer to certain queries, and he refused. Says he was independent. But time came when we had to summon him to answer to queries of monies which we had appropriated. Had no choice but to come. And you can imagine what happened to him. So, cooperation is very crucial. We don't even need to summon you. You can also invite us. You can also call us. You say, you have an issue, how do we deal with it? You see, separation of powers is the extent of a person or an individual, an organization is given a latitude to make a decision without undue influence. But it is not a shield against accountability. We confuse the two. At the end of the day, we account to the people. So to me, what I wanted to emphasize, Mr. Chairman, is that this interaction should be enhanced in many ways. We reach out to the judiciary, even at the highest level. There should be a platform where, for instance, the President and the Chief Justice and the Speaker interact in the interests of delivering service to the people. But that rigid, I could hear even some members of parliament saying, I can never meet the President. Why should you say that? Then how will you serve the people? So I thought I would clarify this and encourage us to continue in dialogue for the sake of delivering service to our people. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, our senior Rohindi. This committee has had a number of interfaces before with the Chief Justice on his invitation under the leadership of Justice Owiny Dollo to discuss issues that are pertaining in the judiciary. We look forward to the same invitation. But if it doesn't come, we'll request for one. It's within our liberty, and we interface with him and the rest of the team. Because some of these issues we raise, you may be guided to respond to them. Lastly, let's hear from the Deputy Chair.
Yes, Chair. Let me thank the judiciary for many progress. Chair, allow me also to ask them with respect to ADR. I noticed that in their presentation on page 7, when it came to small claim procedure, there is actually a total value recovered of about 20, is it trillion? Something, billion, something, over. It is undisputed that mediation is actually helping us recover capital or money that has been locked up. Yesterday, I attended at the Supreme Court roundtable. We talked about the mediation fortnight, which is also coming up I'm actually, let me declare my conflict of interest. I'm a mediator at the commercial court. Chair, the question I have for these people is that what was budgeted for mediation? How much was released? Can this money be ring-fenced for mediation? Because it cuts across all the different courts, not just the small claims court. Mediation saves costs, mediation is faster, mediation is easy to access. How can we put more? Let's put our money where our mouth is, if we say it is what is working. And I think when you talk about ADR, I would also like to hear about transitional justice. How are you handling that? I know time is limited, so also when we had another stakeholder here, Chair, you remember, I think it was Judicial Service Commission. When we sat down in the 10-fold growth strategy by NDP 4, we actually, as political supervisors, added corruption as one of the other strategies for growth. They informed us of around 4 judges almost being investigated. Corruption in the judiciary threatens, brings disrepute to the administration of justice. And many times when that happens, people run away from court. And what is the alternative? Lawlessness. So how can we help you, whether it's in terms of budget? I know you talked of regional court inspection centers. I don't know whether that is meant to help with that, but really, how can we help? Because with corruption, within a bad name, with that disrepute, I think we can lose the fight, irrespective of all the good things that we have had that you're doing. So I think, Chair, and as I conclude, there's no ECMIS in Patongo Court, where I come from. There is no state attorney in Patongo, according to DPP. How is all this affecting your justice to my people of Agago? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there still issues affecting your constituents that you would want to raise with the judiciary? Yes, Honorable Yap.
Thank you, Chair. There is an issue of construction of the court premises in Kabale, and there was a dispute between the Kabale District Local Government and the judiciary. So I wanted to know how far it has gone, so that as politicians we can follow it and resolve it, since we have a new leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Adeke, you had an issue.
Honorable Chair, my apologies for coming a bit late. I had a meeting with our secretariat.
What has been asked.
Yeah, I had a meeting with our secretariat. We're going for field work with my other committee where I'm deputy chair. So I just need to understand from the judiciary on the issue of criminal sessions, criminal files. My name is Adeke Anebaju, Soroti District Woman Representative. So I've seen, something I've noted is that most times criminal issues are only heard during criminal sessions. And that has, in one way or the other, contributed to the overcrowding in prisons, because many criminal matters remain pending and are not disposed of for so many years. And so the accused persons remain on remand, very long remand periods. Now, what I'd like to understand from the judiciary is, why has it become a practice that criminal matters have to be put on hold until criminal sessions? Can't these matters be disposed of in the daily conduct of court sittings and all? It only happens when a criminal session happens, and the budget, Honorable Chair, for a criminal session, because a criminal session has to be allocated its own budget, and the budget is oftentimes not available. So you find that most high courts, where there is a circuit, they have like 2 criminal sessions in a financial year, which is really inadequate to deal with the backlog. So what I really want to understand that issue about, criminal files. Why is it only mention,
Thank you.
and only for criminal sessions?
Thank you so
and
much.
how can we support you to maybe to have these matters handled, not just to wait for criminal sessions so that they are dealt with. Thank you.
Honorable Abdallah, 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair, for this last opportunity.
But I'll strictly give you 1 minute.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Madam Chief Registrar, you see, I happen to be working hand in hand, even right now, much as I'm a member of Parliament, I'm always in court. There is this issue which I think we should also try to give us some explanation or to give it some deep thought. There are some magistrates who get transferred. This is not the omnibus transfers which you normally do. But upon handling some cases which feel that they go deep to offend some people.
But the Honorable Pio raised that issue. The Honorable Pio raised that issue.
Sorry, yeah. I thought that she had not.
That was raised.
But
by
so
the
far
Honorable
I had two instances. I think she brought them up.
Yeah, the Honorable Pio raised that issue.
In the eyes of the public, it doesn't go down well. And
Don't worry, she articulated that issue. She articulated that issue very well. Now, Madam Undersecretary and the Chief Registrar and the team, these are some of the many salient issues that are coming from the public. These are representatives of the people. They are concerned about issues like they have raised the bail, backlog, absence of judicial officers, non-operationalization of some courts in some areas, and these are not light issues. I am scheduling you next week to come and respond to these issues as they have raised them, so that we have ample time to respond. So I just want you to give your parting remarks. We shall schedule you next week. You come and respond to these issues as they have been raised. I am sure you have noted all of them down. Thank you very much. Please, let's have your...
When I'm in court and we adjourn the cross-examination, we tend to forget.
No, the issues have been written. I consulted with our secretariat. They are also going to make they are going to write to you with all the issues that have been raised here, so that you come back with responses to all those issues. Let's have your last.
Thank you, Chair. Before I give the closing remarks as the leader of the delegation, I request the Chief Registrar to say something, then I close up.
Thank you very much, Chair. We actually do appreciate that last comment you have made, because it will also give us time to comprehensively respond to the issues that have been raised. We do appreciate you for giving us this opportunity to appear. I think we shall be able to talk more when we return on the next occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. We thank you for this time. We thank you for all the issues you have raised. Some of them were counsel, and we take them very seriously. The comments to improve, we also take them very seriously. And the clarifications that you require, we are going to put them in writing and send them and come back and clarify where there may be need for clarification. Thank you very much for this engagement.
Thank you very much for coming. We look forward to seeing you next week. Honorable Chwanuka Abdallah, the Shadow Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, will see you out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Andrew, please usher in the next team very quickly. We want to finish this discussion. Thank you, sir. Honorable members, don't keep the team from the judiciary inside the meeting room. We need to proceed very quickly. Please have the discussion outside.
They will not catch me taking tea.
I just put some little sugar and then I have not taken sugar.
That's why I had to do more time, because I need to all of this to be ready.
I hope they will not take my picture when they eat.
It is okay.
Yeah? Am I allowed to?
Yes.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Uganda's coffee story is an exciting phase through the Government of Uganda-funded National Coffee Seed System Project, the National Coffee Research Institute, NACORI, and the policy guidance of NARO works with MAIF, Coffee Department, registered nursery operators, and farmer groups to deliver quality coffee seedlings to farmers. Introducing Next Wave, the next generation of coffee. Chituza Robusta coffee varieties with higher yields, drought tolerance and resistance to diseases. As Uganda's coffee exports grow from 3.5 million to over 8.7 million bags, NACORI research is helping drive productivity, quality and competitiveness. Beyond production, NACORI is unlocking new opportunities through coffee value addition, creating innovative products and higher incomes for farmers, processors and entrepreneurs. By developing unique flavor profiles and world-class coffee innovations, NACORI is helping Uganda's transition from exporting volumes of coffee to exporting value. NACORI's innovations undergo a rigorous research process that makes them sustainable for the next generation. Drought-tolerant coffee varieties that are cultivated, planted in Uganda's drought-prone areas. NACORI, research, innovation, prosperity.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate and we can't ban it. What we have banned or what we have stopped is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
This week on UBC.
Because I had a hearing loss from childhood, I experienced a lot of love and care. Later on, I understood as I grew older that I actually had acute chronic otitis media. So I always wanted to be a teacher. First, I wanted to be an artist.
So you had passion for teaching?
Yes. First, I wanted to be an artist because I could draw, and I could draw very well. But then on the first day when I went to art school at Makerere, they handed us, they gave us, it was like a still life that we had to draw. And a man who was half naked, you know, up, and they said, okay, here's a piece of paper.